Hello everyone and welcome to BIGBAKEROLL TV where we bake a variety of desserts. In today's episode, I'll be showing you my cake baking, decorating, and packaging process for an enchanted forest themed birthday party. Step 1. Baking our cake layers. Of course, we must prepare our pans by greasing them with oil and spreading it around the entire pan, getting every corner. I often use this method when I run out of baking spray and don't feel like running to the store. I don't really use a measuring cup when baking my cakes. I eyeball it to just about halfway of the pan and do the same for each layer to make them as even as possible when baking. And as you guys can see when pouring this, my hand got stuck. This happens to me a lot when I'm baking large batches. When I'm in the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen. I'm in there for hours, so we just shake it off like a big girl and keep it pushing. The next step is pretty obvious, putting our cakes in the oven. These are my 8-inch cakes and they bake for about 20 to 25 minutes on 325 degrees. Next, I jump into making the cake pops for this order. I seen a cake pop trick on TikTok where you take the cake straight out the oven and mix it up to create a cake pop dough. And it's supposed to stick together and have a nice consistency. It was looking pretty good at first, but after a while I didn't really like it. It didn't hold its shape as much or hold the stick in place, so I just ended up adding a few scoops of icing in later. And honestly, I personally think the icing adds more flavor to the cake pops and gives it a little more texture than just the steamed cake. Then I began testing the sizes to find the perfect size because I did create the balls by hand using an ice cream scoop and I didn't want them to be too heavy on the stick. After rolling the cake balls, I melted some white chocolate, colored it, and dipped the stick inside of the chocolate, then into the cake pop, and let them firm up in the freezer for a few minutes. And since the theme was enchanted forest, my customer wanted mushroom cake pops to match her cake. She ordered 1 dozen, 6 pink and 6 purple. So here's me dipping the purple cake pops. And I really love how these cake pops turn out, being that it was my first time making cake pops. And I must say, they're not as easy as they look on Instagram. I'll tell you that much. But they are really fun to make, and I know as I make more, it'll become easier and just light work for me. But other than that, they came out really cute and went great with the cake. Then to top it off, I went ahead and added some white sprinkles to get the real cute little mushroom effect. The sprinkles is what really made these cake pops. They came out super duper cute. I applied them using corn syrup. As you guys can see, I brushed them and I added corn syrup and they came out so cute. And now here is me packing up these cake pops using these little plastic things that I had. I got them from Amazon. That's all I know. I don't really know what they're called. I used to use them for cookies for my bake sale, and I found them convenient for my cake pops. And then I had these little gold twister things because that's the accent color of the party. Of course, I was doing all of this while watching my online mentor, Cake King. When it comes to this cake stuff, he's the real deal. So yeah, I was enjoying myself at this point. It's cake time! My favorite part. So, we're starting off with frozen cake layers as always because that's what works best for me. And I already cut the edges and made them flat so when we stack them they could sit on top of each other evenly. And we are icing this cake using pink cream cheese frosting that we will be using for filling, crumb coat, and decorating. This cake does not have any filling, so of course we're going to put some cream cheese frosting in the middle. And I don't really have a proper way of filling my cake when I don't use filling. I just kind of wing it every time. I use the same amount of frosting in each layer, but I don't use the same method if that makes sense. So bakers out there, what's the best method like to get the perfect amount of frosting in the middle of your cake? Because I see some bakers use ice cream scoops, some bakers just pipe around, or some bakers just use the spatula and just throw it on there. So what do you guys think is best? I usually do it different every time and just find my technique that I want to use and just go from there. Alright, crumb coat is complete. Now it's time for the final coat of icing. This is the part of the cake decorating that takes the most time for me because I need my final layer to look perfectly smooth, and most of the time it takes 1,000 spins just to get it. However, for this particular cake, I didn't want it to look completely smooth because the texture I was going for, I wanted it to have some type of movement look because I was going to add butterflies, fairies, and more icing on top to give it like that natural flow. And after the final coat, it's time for the final pieces. I started by coloring some blue and purple icing to create a butterfly look on the side of the cake, which you all will see in a second. But first, I wanted to place the little door front and center of the cake and work my way around it with the rest of the decoration. And here is the final product for our enchanted forest themed cake. I'm so happy with the outcome. It's so pretty and it came out exactly how I envisioned it. Check out the pictures and reels of this beauty on our Instagram at BIGBAKEROLL_TV. I hope you guys enjoy watching this process as much as I enjoyed creating it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this from BIGBAKEROLL TV. Bye!